Thank you, Dr. Chipman. Minister Prabowo, I would like to ask you about Indonesia's free and active foreign policy. Your predecessor, Muhammad Hatta, the proclamator, set out Indonesia's foreign policy in 1948 along the lines of the free and active foreign policy. And you've spoken at length about Indonesia's anti-colonial struggle and the anti-colonial struggles of the region during that period. But what does the free and active policy mean for Indonesia today? How does it apply to the struggle between the United States and China in particular, taking it from its US-Russia context in 1948? Thank you.
And from Australia, Natalie Samby.
Thank you, Dr. Chipman. My question is also to Bapak Prabowo. You spoke so eloquently about the Asian way of resolving challenges in the region. May I ask your reaction to whether AUKUS and the Quad are compatible with the Asian way? And with the election of a new government in Australia, Foreign Minister Penny Wong has announced greater initiatives with the Pacific. What opportunities are there for Indonesia to work together with Australia and other countries in order to support the Pacific on issues like climate change? Thank you.
So our three ministers have a bit of a challenge. They have about 3 or 4 minutes each to answer these questions and make their points. For Pak Prabowo, there was quite a bit on the South China Sea. No doubt the Natuna Islands is also a question that sometimes brings China and Indonesia, at least politically, into conflict, free and active, and whether the AUKUS and Quad are compatible with the Asian way of defense diplomacy. Bapak Prabowo, over to you.
I start first.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I have 3 questions I think that overlaps each other. One question is from, I think, from Indonesia. Tadi namanya saya kurang jelas ya. Was from the lady from Indonesia that asked the first question. And the second is from Mr. Connolly from the United States about our free and active foreign policy that has originated even before we officially got our sovereignty or independence. And the third from the lady from Australia, I think, Miss Penelope, I think is that. Also asking about AUKUS, is AUKUS and the Quad compatible with the Asian way? I think this it's a bit overlapping. I just would like to reiterate, first of all, that our tradition that Mr. Connolly correctly states started from even before we were officially a sovereign nation. We chose consciously to be free and not be engaged in military alliances. This is because of our outlook that we consider ourselves to respect all major powers and all our neighbors. That is the fundamental source of this conviction. And I would like also to allude to a famous answer given by, I think, one of the great leaders of the world, who was a victim of injustice, Nelson Mandela, when he was asked, I think it was in New York at a meeting, he was asked whether he considers Fidel Castro, Muammar Gaddafi to be icons or to be good examples. I think his answer was that your enemy does not necessarily be my enemy. And he also alluded that those who helped the struggle of the ANC in hard times will never be forgotten by the ANC, by the black people of South Africa, in the good times. And that is our position, that we have good relations. We were supported by the United States in our struggle for independence. The United States helped us in many critical times. We were supported by Australia in our struggle for independence. We remember Australian labor unions striking for our independence. We remember Australian workers refusing to handle Dutch cargo. And that's why we also remember that Russia has also helped Indonesia. At that time, it was the Soviet Union. And we also remember that China was a leading member of the anti-imperialist movement. And China has always been good friends with Indonesia. We have our differences. We had our differences. But now the Asian way is that each country has their own way of solving their problems. But each country has to maintain good relations with their neighbors and with all the great powers of the world. That is the Asian way. So if I'm asked, is AUKUS or the Quad compatible with the Asian way, my answer is that every country has to decide for themselves what their priorities, what their security needs are. If the members of AUKUS think or consider that for their interest and for their security they need to have AUKUS, it is not Indonesia's duty, or it's not Indonesia's right to have an opinion on the opinions of those respective countries. We do not believe in, let us say, alliances that could in the end also threaten other countries. But that is our opinion. We respect the opinions of other countries. If the members of the Quad consider that it is in their interest, we will respect that. But once again, I would like to reiterate, the question here is that we must always consider and respect the national interests and the rightful interests of the People's Republic of China. China has been a great civilization. They have been leaders of Asia for many thousands of years. I've said that many times. Their influence permeates all of Southeast Asia. So we urge everybody to respect the rightful rise of China back to its position as a great civilization. Therefore, even we have some differences, we will strive to solve those differences in an amicable and in a mutually beneficial way. That is the Asian way. We have differences with Singapore. We had differences with Malaysia. We have differences now with Malaysia. But we consider Malaysia very close to us, and we are determined to solve those differences without resort to any force. That's our determination. We had territorial disputes. Remember Sipadan and Ligitan. Now we still have problems. But as I said, I would like to reiterate, Indonesia is determined to resolve the differences with our neighbors without resort to any use of force. We are convinced that with friendly cooperation, everybody wins. Thank you very much.